Hi, my name is Ron Wilstein, and I'm a broker with Keller Williams Luxury Homes International in Park City, Utah. Today we're going to look at how you price your property to sell in today's marketplace. This is the question that every property owner who wants to sell their property has to determine, and that is the right list price for their home or their condominium. Everyone wants to list their property at the highest possible price, but not so high that it doesn't sell. And this is the challenge that every property owner faces. There are 4 steps to determining the right list price. The first is to determine the fair market value for your property. The next is what I call the 10% rule, which I will explain, and it will help you to avoid overpricing your property. Third is the list to sold ratio, and we're going to talk about what that is for Park City and how that impacts your decision making. And then fourth is you'll need to decide the length of time that you want your property to be on the market. We begin by determining the fair market value of a property, and this is done by seeking the advice of a realtor who can provide you with comparable sales of similar properties, whether it's a home, a condominium, a piece of raw land that has sold within the past 6 months. Some instances we have to go back even a year. But once we determine the correct comparable properties and look at what they sold for, evaluate the differences between your property and those properties, we can determine what the fair market value of your property is. Once you've done that, you need to take into account the 10% pricing rule. And this is something that I've discovered over the last almost 2 years here in Park City. And here's how it works. When a seller lists their property up to 10% above the fair market value of their property, they're likely to sell the property. Now, the closer you get to the fair market value, the faster you're going to sell naturally. But you can list your price up to that price and have some room to come off your price during negotiations. An unacceptable list price is above the 10% value above fair market for your property. If you go there, something very interesting seems to happen in the Park City market, and that is nobody buys your property. So I've been up here 25 years, and I've never seen such a well-defined line as to where you can overprice a property so it doesn't sell versus what is the maximum price that you can apply to a property and still sell it within the current marketplace. That's the 10% pricing principle. This graph here shows how it really works out. You've got the fair market value of the property, which you determine from comparable sales. You've got the time that your property is on the market, and if you list it 5% above, it will sell. If you list it up to 10%, it will sell, but probably, as the chart indicates, take a little bit longer to sell. If you list it above that mark, it doesn't seem to sell. Now, if you're like most sellers, you'll say, well, a buyer can always make an offer. That's absolutely true. But with the benefits of the internet and how people can preview properties through virtual tours, today's consumer, today's buyer is much better informed than ever before, and they simply eliminate those properties as overpriced and don't seriously view them as contenders when they try to create their short list of acceptable properties. So this is a very important concept. Be cautious, don't overprice your property. Next, we want to look at the list to sold price ratio for Park City. Sellers have been typically coming off their list price between 4 to 6% during negotiations in order to successfully sell their properties. So whatever price your property is at, you're likely to sell it somewhere between 94 to 96% of that list price. Today's buyer is still expecting some negotiations, still expecting you to come off your price as a seller, but you shouldn't, in most instances, if you're under that 10% cap above fair market value, have to come off your price any more than this. Now, there's always a case-by-case scenario, and you'd have to discuss that with your realtor. Next, we look at absorption rate. Now, the absorption rate tells us how long it should take for the current inventory of similar properties to sell in the current marketplace. And there's a little formula that we use in order to determine the absorption rate. First, we identify comparable sold properties. Next, we calculate the rate of sale. And then third, we calculate the absorption rate. The rate of properties, the number of properties they have sold is easy to determine. You narrow it down, you're left with that number. Then you look at the rate of sale. And the way you arrive at the rate of sale is you divide the number of comparable sales during the past year by 365 days to get to the frequency of sales in the current marketplace. An example of this is, let's say there were 15 comparable sales during the past year. You divide 365 days by the 15 sales and you arrive at 24.33. That tells you that the rate of sale is one sale every 24 days. Now the absorption rate. The absorption rate formula is you take the current supply of comparable properties, these are properties for sale that are similar to your property. You look at the rate of sale over the past 12 months, and that gives you the absorption rate. And that is the sold time for the current inventory to be absorbed by the marketplace, assuming new additional properties don't come on the market. Here's an example. Let's say that there are 6 comparable properties that are listed. You multiply 6 by the rate of sales, in our earlier example 24. That tells you that it would take approximately 144 days to absorb those 6 sales. If you divide the 144 days by 30 days in a month, you arrive at a 4.8 month supply. So we would say that the absorption rate is a 5-month inventory of comparable properties for sale. Now this is helpful because you know your situation. You know whether you want to sell it right away, whether it doesn't matter if it sells at all or it needs to be sold within 6 months. This is helpful information in that instance. Now this leads to that fourth element, which is your desired length of time on the market. How long do you want it to take for you to sell your property? You look at the rate of sales, you look at the absorption rate, and you decide how quickly you want to sell your property. Now if you're selling your property because you have a job transfer and that occurs in 60 days, well, you're starting to get a sense of how long you need to take to sell your property if you want it sold before you do your transfer. Some transfers allow it to continue to stay on the market for an extended period of time. Maybe you've got 4 months, maybe you've got 6 months. But you can see how this is going to ultimately influence your decision as a property owner. Set your list price based upon your desired length of time on the market after adjusting for the absorption rate. Finally, I want to talk very briefly about the force multiplier marketing system. This is our proprietary marketing plan that we use to sell properties. A force multiplier is actually a military term used to describe the warfare strategy of attacking an enemy through multiple methods, carefully coordinated together to have a devastating impact. So if you were a country and you were going to attack another country, if you want to use the force multiplier concept, you would use your intelligence as part of it. You would use attacking by land as part of it, attacking by sea. If you have special forces, you would use them. The combination of all these different methods gives you a greater impact or a devastating impact, and from a military point of view, this is a prudent way to go. When it comes to real estate, it's really not that different. What we've done is we've combined 10 proving strategies into a marketing plan. They're on the screen here. Internet marketing, double MLS exposure, 24-hour instant information, Park City newsletters, Park City or real estate webinars, KW luxury homes marketing, the use of buyer specialists, buyer blogs, newsletters, and webinars, property information being sent to smartphones, and 3 interactive buyer search websites. This combination, this force multiplier, if you will, has a devastating impact, and it causes us to be very efficient and very successful at selling properties. I'm not going to take time to describe this, but I will point you to a webinar where I actually go into the 10 strategies in great detail. If you want to watch that, you can go to thewillsteinteam.com /force multiplier or thewillsteinteam.com /FMMS. That will take you to the page. You can watch that webinar on the force multiplier. Get some more information. You may find it interesting. It certainly is highly effective. In fact, this is how effective it is. Last year, the average Park City agent sold 1 property every 110 days, or annualized, the average Park City agent sold 3.3 properties in that year. The properties below that is what the Wilson team sold. We sold 45 properties. We sold one property every 8 days, and that's the difference. That's the result of the force multiplier at work. If you're interested in any more details about our services, we have a magazine that I wrote entitled Smart Seller Magazine. It actually describes the force multiplier in detail. If you don't already have a copy, send me an email. Just say, mail me the Smart Seller Magazine, include your mailing address, we'll get that off to you right away. I do want to take a moment before we wrap up here to look at how you can receive automatic notifications whenever a property comes on the market in your neighborhood or your condominium project. A lot of property owners aren't interested in selling right now, but they do want to know what's happening in the marketplace. So I'm going to direct you to my website, which is BuyParkCity.com. Here we are on it, and what you do is you simply go into the website and you create a search and you save it, and the website will do the rest. You will automatically be notified when a property comes on the market that matches the criteria you put in. We're not going to call you. We're not going to bug you. If you want our help, you contact us. That's our approach. But here's how you would do it is, if you were already registered, you'd go up to this upper right hand corner, click on My Dashboard, and you click on it, and you would fill in the spot. My computer has by default automatically filled in my name, Ron Wilstein, and my email address, but you would put your name in there, your email address. If you want, you can put your phone in there, it's optional, and then you would click register, and that would tell the website to remember you. If you're already registered, all you do is you go to sign in here and type in your email address, and often your computer will put it in right away for you, and then you click sign in. And what that will do is that will take you to your dashboard. This is specifically for you. You can have messages in there. You can have saved searches. Here I have a saved search here called Single Family Homes in North Shore and More. It comes to me weekly, and you simply click on it, and there's your saved search. And this is already in place. It's ready to go. And if you wanted to, let me just go back a step, create your own save search. What you would do is go into my dashboard real quickly. Is you go to new search here. I'm going to show you how easy this is. Click on that button. It gives you all the listings that are in the Park City Multiple Listing Service, 1,973 right now. And this right column here where it says refine the search, you could identify the location, you could identify a price range here if you wanted to, number of bedrooms or bathrooms, whatever your preference is. I'm just going to do this real simple. I'm going to choose an area. Let's say I go to, I'll go to Pine Brook. When I go to Pine Brook here, I'm going to scroll down a little lower, property type. Let's say I want single family homes. You could pick vacant land, you could pick condominiums. And let's say that you're interested in something real specific in Pine Brook. You don't have to do this. In fact, let me just click on this and get everything in Pine Brook. We've got 15 properties in Pine Brook. There they are. That's page 1, and you can click through it. But let's say you want to refine your search a little more and said, you know, I only want the properties in Eagle Ridge. You start typing Eagle, and by default gives you subdivisions with Eagle. I click in Eagle Ridge, and let's say I want the properties in Pine Ridge also. I click there and then refine search, and now it's gone from those 15 to 3 properties. There they are, and all you do is choose one, click on the picture. It takes you to the property. It provides you the information, the price, in this case $1,299,000, 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, 5,198 square feet. You can tell that the pictures are automatically scrolling there. You can see what the property looks like. You can inquire about it. You can request a showing. You can add it to your list of favorites, and the website will actually keep track of that for you. And if you scroll down lower, there's additional details about the listing. So it's really pretty helpful. The other thing that's nice is if you click on the bird's eye view, it will then give you an overhead view of that property where it's located. It's right there. And you can see everything that's around it. So nice features, nice elements, all on our website. It's all you need to do, and you can do that anytime you want. If you set up an automatic search, the website will automatically let you know when new properties come on the market. So whether it's a neighborhood like the example I just gave you, whether it's a condominium project and you only care about what's in that condominium, even what one-bedroom units only, whatever you want, you can put it in there. The website will automatically notify you when they come on the market. Well, there you go. If you're interested in selling your property, let's talk. I'm available to assist you in any way that you can. And if you want a free property value assessment, either call me or I'll go back to my website for a second. Under Selling, the Selling tab, will go down to the Free Property Value Assessment tab. Click that. It says, what's your property worth? You fill in your name, your email. If you want, you come down here and describe your property. It's got 4 bedrooms. It has 3 baths, and the size is 3,000 to 3,500 square feet. And if you want to specify price range, you can, 700 to 900,000. And you put in any comments, any questions that you have, come down, hit submit form. That comes to me. I'll contact you. I'll get you the information, let you know what your property is worth. It's just that easy. Well, I hope that I've answered questions when it comes to how you go about pricing your property. If you have any specific questions, send me an email at ron@thewilsteinteam.com. If you'd like me to call you, include your phone number or preferred time, I'll be happy to do so. Thank you for watching this webinar, and have a great day.